Golly, did you see me kill that lipless bait? Man, when I killed it and let that bait fall, he just hammered it. And what I did, I ripped that bait, I reeled that bait, and I just killed it. And he hit that storm rocking shad, he hit it right there on the fall. As soon as that bait started to fall, he hit it. Get back on trolling water here. Try that again. They reel off the edge and stop it. And reel and stop and reel and stop. And most people that buy rattle traps or lipless baits, you know, they pretty well fish them generally with a straight, steady retrieve, you know, and a lot of times that works real well and it always catches fish, but, you know, the stop and start retrieve, like I'm kind of using today, as I come out off these points, I'm starting to let it fall. A lot of times if those fish aren't up real shallow and real aggressive, that bait coming and just falling in front of their face, it'll actually trigger them to bite. And you know, a lot of these baits, you know, like this storm, this rocking shad, you know, it's designed where it falls and it's got that little shimmy as it goes to the bottom. And a lot of times, especially when the water's cold, you know, it's a good way to trigger those fish that won't bite on a straight, steady retrieve. You can use your reel like I'm doing today and keep your rod pointed parallel and reel and throw it and then watch your line as the bait falls. I've caught a couple like that. And then you can also take and pull and actually yo-yo your bait up off the bottom and then kind of watch and kind of gently feed it line as it goes down. And so there's kind of two ways. I tend to like to reel and hold the rod parallel and stop, because that way I feel like I've got my rod still in position when I get a strike. But I've done it before in the summertime when I'm fishing out deep on ledges, where I've actually used the rod to rip it up, a more aggressive way to try to jerk it up off the bottom to cause those fish to strike. So, you know, a lot of times vary your retrieve when you're fishing a lipless bait in the spring, you know, and try a stop or reel and stop, or a straight, or using your rod to rip it up off the bottom. And I think that'll help you get the most and maximize an area. Say if you've caught 5 or 6 bass on a straight, steady retrieve, a lot of times you'll pull these fish off of what you're fishing, and a lot of times by just letting that bait sink a little farther out, let it get a little deeper, you can catch some of those fish that you've pulled out, or you can also actually trigger some fish to bite that you may have missed with a straight, steady retrieve. There's one. That's a little better one, it feels like. Maybe a little better. He was out there on the edge as soon as I cleared that old dead grass. As soon as I cleared that old dead grass, I stopped it and he just kind of loaded up on it. One nice thing about this big rod, you can make such long casts with it. And then see if I can pick him up here. Not a bad one there. Nice, healthy, fat fish. And I'm using a 7'6" Lew's custom rattle trap rod, and it's really kind of a neat rod. You can fish it shallow and you can fish it deep, and it's got just kind of you make a long cast with it, and you know, when you hook those fish out there at a long distance, you know, it's got about the right amount of tip to it. You can take up a lot of line, but as you can see, this rod's got a real flexible, fast tip, but then it gets into backbone right here. So kind of, you've got enough tip to fight the fish to where they won't pull off, but also you got enough backbone. If you fish this rod around grass, you got enough backbone to actually pull the bait out of the grass and, you know, snatch it off. Some crankbait rods are too soft, and when you try to pull on it, you know, it won't cause the bait to free itself from that grass. So this is really a nice rod, 7'6". And I've got this on 14-pound Suffix fluorocarbon line, and I've got it on a 7.5-to-1 Lew's Tournament Pro reel. And I like a high-speed retrieve reel whenever I'm fishing a lipless bait. I think it gives you a lot of options. You know, you can fish it fast some days, even in cold water. Those fish really like a fast, burning type retrieve to cause them to strike. And then, of course, whenever you kind of like I'm fishing the bait today, kind of with a reel and a drop. You know, when those fish bite it, you can take up that slack line if that fish hits it on the fall, you know, and get a hook into them. There's one. There's a big one. Now he hit it on the fall. Switched over to the ripping wrap that time as I got over here on this side and the water got a little dirtier. And I caught that bass right there, but now I reeled that bait out and stopped it, and he hit it on the fall. He didn't hit it on the straight retrieve, but I went to that red ripping wrap because the water got a little more stained and caught that bass right there. I'd been throwing that rocking shad and that shad color around there where that water was a little cleaner. Let's see if we can catch us another one there. That was kind of fun, but as soon as I stopped it, he just jumped all over it.